A fight? For me? Oh, you shouldn't have.
Do better than that.
Freaking left it. Fully energized. That's what did you in. Game. I'll be adding that takedown to my highlight reel.
Brilliant work, Vault Hunter.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Today we're back on another build guide, and today we got another Amara build. As the main focus of today is the Eternal Fist. And that's because Moxie and Lazy Data actually did a video and showed that every time you kill the enemy in the phase grasp, when it moves to another enemy, any ASS or action skill start anointments automatically activate. So that's really what this build is based around, this and the Kinsei class mod. So if you guys enjoy and want to see more of these build guides, really I would appreciate it if you guys could hit that like button and maybe subscribe to see more build guides. I should have one coming out at least once or twice every week. And with that, let's get right into the build. Alright, so you are going to need all the DLC for this build to work, so that is one negative of it. But we're going to start off with 5 points in No Mistakes in Nature. Every time we activate a status effect, Amara gains 91% melee damage. I think it's 72 without the class mod, because we're getting +2 from our class mod. And then after this 5, we move down here into Unweave the Rainbow. And this is 33%, but with 2 points into it, we get 55. Now, realistically, for your best results, you're going to want to get +3 on Unweave the Rainbow on your Kinsei class mod. And I grinded for hours, but you can only do so much arms race before you get sick of it. So +2 is what we're working with right now. And then we go +3 and go with flow. Every time we freeze an enemy, 21% more gun damage and 9% more movement speed, which is really nice. 1 point into Combo Breaker, just because melee damage kills automatically has a chance to reset our action skill. And then 4 points into Heavy Rain. That's only just so we can move down the skill tree. And bonus splash damage and extra projectile speed is always good. 5 points into Burn Both Ends. Now, you're not going to be able to see these stacks. They don't have an icon for some reason. But when you have max stacks of 15, that gives you an extra 75%, I believe. Yeah, 75% more damage on everything, I believe. Chains increased damage for a short time. Yeah, 75% increased damage in general. 1 point into Free the Soul, just because these get Mayhem scaling, so they do a lot of damage. And then we have 4 points into Joyful Freedom to move down the tree. And after you activate your action skill, 70% more damage. You know what? Not that bad. And Clear the Mind. This is nice because if you wait for some bosses, like Wotan, you can actually freeze him. Normally, he can't be freezed. He resists cryo. But with this, you can actually freeze Wotan, which is really helpful because you can do a lot of damage. And then I have cryo for my action skill. Now, moving on to the blue tree, we're going to go put 5 points into Do Harm because, once again, action skill, this gets Mayhem scaling. So this will be nice for our Eternal Fist. And for bossing, we can put on Phase Cast. So this could really be an Eternal Fist or Phase Cast build, because with Do Harm and Phase Cast, your Phase Cast is going to do a lot of damage. 3 points into Transcend, just for the accuracy and critical hit damage. If you get like a monarch or something and use both your face casts or your eternal fist, whatever, and aim for those crits, you're gonna do a lot of damage because you can get this to stack twice. So they'll give you an extra 54% critical hit damage. Alacrity, just insane reload speeds, which is good because if you're stuck reloading, you can go down pretty easy. Because I'm not gonna lie, this build does not have the best survivability. Out of all the builds I have, this one's probably the least survivable, but it is the most fun because you run around and freeze everything around you. 1 point into Ascendant, just for that extra 20% soul sap lifesteal. So 50%, I think. I'm not sure how adding percentages work. We're gonna say 50% lifesteal of skill damage dealt. So that'll help with do harm. It's kind of works together for some healing that you can get because we don't have sustainment. 3 points into all of these from Rest, Laid Bare, and Wrath because Eternal Fist, that enemy will just get dealt a bunch of damage, or if you use Face Cast, you can make a bunch of enemies get dealt extra damage from Laid Bare. So you only need 1 point in a Remnant. If this orb comes out and hits anybody, they're dead. Because again, this gets Mayhem scaling. Don't know why. Avatar, using action skills, using your action skill in between cooldowns is helpful because the more Eternal Fist or the more Face Cast that we can get out, the more damage we're going to do. 5 points into Infusion. This is helpful because before the last hotfix, this wasn't working with Cryo, but now that this does work with Cryo, we can freeze enemies and do more damage to them. So that's going to work well with Unweave the Rainbow. 1 point into Illuminated Fist. This boosts your damage by 75%. And the last 4 points I just put into Tempest. These 4 points can go anywhere. Oh wait, no they can't. Nope, we need these 4 points for the Eternal Fist. Never mind. You can go Tempest or Anima. I think Tempest is better because just overall elemental damage boosts in general are good. And if you don't want to run Cryo, you can put on Soulfire, but make sure all your weapons are Cryo. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on a lot of your bonuses. So, weapons, I just got done bossing. I went through the Wotan, or Wotan, whatever you want to call them, the invincible fights. So that's why these are all face cast anointed. Let's just switch these out here. Okay. So, light shows, I have multiple of them, either consecutive hits or ASE, whichever one you prefer. Or ASA for some is okay. I prefer ASE or consecutive hits, but if you can only get an ASA 200%, fine. But just remember, you have to be holding the gun while you use your Eternal Fist. Because if you switch away and switch back or switch to it, you don't get that bonus because this anointment's glitched or glitchy. 1 or 2. Flipper's good on everyone, and consecutive hits you can rile up really fast with the 9 pellets that it shoots out. Plasma Coil, best SMG in the game, nothing to explain there. Hellwalker with a 390 anointment. I have 390, I have Face Cast, and I have an ASE one, so one for every situation. I prefer 390 because you just Eternal Fist someone, headshot them, your Remnant Orb will go out and kill someone, and it should insta-kill them, and you can cycle through these really fast. And while that's happening, your Frozen Heart will be going off, because I have an ASS Frozen Heart, and every time this goes off, you're going to freeze all the enemies around you, and you're going to heal from it. So, if you don't like Frozen Hearts, I have a Nova Burner, Stopgap, Recharger, and a Transformer. I'm actually going to take this out. That's not supposed to be in here, but these 3 will be, and with all ASS anointments. So, immunity for 5 seconds, instantly begin refilling, or instead of cryo, you can burn enemies, but you won't get any healing from this. The only way you can heal from this is if it drops the health boosters. All right, for grenades, I just have random grenades, 3 hexes apparently, and with all different elements for whatever I'm fighting at that time. Again, the Kensei class mod, because after activating your action skill, you'll deal 10% bonus melee damage on your elemental types. So that's gonna be really helpful because you're gonna do all your melee bonuses from this tree onto your guns, all of your guns. So that adds up really fast. 10% at first didn't sound that much to me, but after testing and watching a Moxie video, I'll leave a link to him in my description because I got a lot of my inspiration from him and Lazy Data, who I'll also link in my description. You guys should really go check them out. They're really cool guys. And the passives on this preferably would be melee damage, action skill to cooldown, splash damage, weapon damage, this stuff. This is the only one that I've gotten with +2 in Unweave the Rainbow. So these are the passives that I got. Light off weapon damage is good because I have monarchs in here. So, I mean, it's not completely useless. And the 6 grenade capacities, it can be beneficial too. Icebreaker auto idle. I use this for regen because we don't have much healing or survivability. So I just use the auto idle doll. Snowdrift for getting around, and the pearl for very specific needs where the icebreaker auto idle will not help me at all. Where I can see this would be something like Grave Ward or bosses where you can't get kills in. I mean, if you want to wait, you can get kills with Grave Ward, but you'd be waiting there for a while. For weapons, like I said, light shows are good. I have a Hydra Frost in here just for the cryo and shock incendiary damage. The Hornet, a lot of splash damage and a lot of corrosive damage. So this will be good for Warden, the Handsome Jack DLC final boss, stuff like that. It's the Hornet got buffed, and ever since then it's been pretty good. Also with ASE, consecutive hits, Hell Shock, pretty obvious. Phase cast, Tizzy. This will, if you need to farm Grave Ward, here's your build. Throw on phase cast, throw on this. He'll be done in seconds. 2 different elements. Maggie with bonus corrosive. I'm probably gonna add in 2 more. I'm probably gonna add in incendiary and weapon damage. So if you want to download this save in the description, it should be in there. That you should have a incendiary and bonus weapon damage. Trick shot with bonus cryo. Trick shot's fun to use sometimes. Bloodstar Beast. It's shock with bonus radiation. The only downside with this is that it's burst. I don't use it that often because it's burst, but a lot of people like it, so I'm gonna put it in there for if you want to use it. Phase cast plasma coil. If you want to destroy anything, throw this on. It does not matter unless it's immune to shock. Then just use radiation and vice versa. 300 over 90 Phasor. Use this on all the enemies that are frozen around you. And I could be wrong, but it seems like the Frozen Heart Nova gets the 300 over 90 anointment, because there's sometimes where I'll activate my action skill and I'll be holding out the Hellwalker and everything will die around me just from the Nova. I don't have to shoot, it won't freeze them, they just die. So that's a pretty interesting interaction that I noticed. I'll probably do more testing on it, and if I find out anything, I'll put it in the description. But right now, I'm not 100% sure if this gets the anointment bonus from this or not. I feel like it does. Continuing on, we got a couple monarchs. We got this cryo one for lifesteal. Again, a little bit more help with the healing, but I think that the lifesteal isn't like enough to save you. So a little bit, but don't depend on it for healing. Radiation cryo. I like the mixture because they both cause AoE damage to enemies around them. Phase cast, corrosive. Monarch, use this on Wotan or Warden, whatever. You'll shred whoever. And a consecutive hits fire one. I skipped over the ogre just a second so I can get back to it, but I have a consecutive hits ogre. I wasn't gonna put this in here, but I saw, if I can remember who it is, I'll link their video down below, but I was watching a YouTube video and I saw someone using the ogre on a build similar to this, and I was like, why are they doing that? And I realized explosive damage is really good on frozen enemies. So if you want to use this, make sure you're freezing the enemies before you use this, otherwise you won't get that good a use out of it. This is definitely a Mo's weapon, but with this specific build of freezing, it's actually really helpful. Brainstormer reflux, consecutive hits, action skill end, they're okay. Anarchies thrown in there, Heartbreaker for more healing, Convergence, Backburner if you want to use your face cast and then shoot this underneath of a big enemy. That'll be helpful. That's pretty good. Complex Root, it's okay for this build. I just kind of threw it in here for bigger mobs. And consecutive hits and a face cast Lyuda with cryo for extra damage. And that's all I got for you guys. So I'll leave this down in the description for anyone on PC who wants to try it out and can download it. Console, we don't have that option yet to do that, so I'm sorry about that. But if you guys enjoyed, why not drop down and hit that like button and maybe leave a comment on what kind of build you want to see next. Amara, I'm leveling up my Zane right now. He's up to level 50, so I should have builds coming out on him within the next couple weeks to next month, depending on how many Amara builds I release. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.